Originally designed by Charles Moneypenny, the same architect who created Daytona International Speedway, Michigan is best known for awesome speeds and competitive racing, spawned by its broad racing surface and 73-foot wide, 18-degree bank turns. Michigan's width and steep banking ensure there's always more than one racing groove. And the fact that MIS is not a super speedway means drivers have more than enough power to make a challenge out of the turns at both ends of the track. Once upon a time, Indy cars frolicked on those high banks at breathtaking speeds. Witness to Paul Tracy's record qualifying lap of 234.949 miles per hour. Today, Michigan regularly vies with Daytona, Talladega, and Texas as NASCAR's fastest speedway, with Jeff Gordon holding the current NASCAR Cup Series track record at 206.558 miles an hour. Richard Petty, David Pearson, Bobby Allison, Davey Allison, Dale Sr., Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, and Jimmy Johnson have all added their names to the roll call of MIS winners, one that also includes names like Andretti, Foyt, Unser, Mears, and Zanardi from the days when Indy cars raced in the Irish Hills. Allison to Yarborough, Andretti to Zanardi, the world's greatest race drivers have been coming to Michigan to test their mettle for more than 40 years. And the fans are followed by the hundreds of thousands. Tonight, race number 12 of the Davidson Builders Cup Series, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Michigan Speedway for race number 12 of the Davidson Builders Cup Series. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. Let's take a look at the race details. 100 laps the race distance this evening. 71-degree ambient temperature, 49% humidity, cloudy skies, 11-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temperature relatively cool with that cloud cover at 101 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers have 60% fuel load tonight. 2 sets of tires over the wall. No fast repairs. Those have gone away. And 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if needed. Let's check to see fast time here for the session. Is it just about wrapped up? Top time so far is Zach Millett, a 38.577, but likely that is in the draft. Alfie Charon, Chris Goins, Jesse Redding, the Track Bar Motorsports Group, topping the charts here at Michigan. Tom Barish, 5th quick. Brandon Coleman, Eric Welch, Dylan Bryant, Mark Collins, Paul Durkee, the top 10. Looks like Sean Roberts out there. He's got some color on that race car this week. Just under a minute left in the session before we see the black and red flags signify the session coming to a close. Roberts across the stripe, doing a quick mock qualifying run. Interesting, there's some damage on the nose of that machine. Trying to get a good look at it. Not sure where that came from. I thought he just came out of the pits. Looks to be the grill, a little bit damaged on the 33. Roberts pulls down back straightaway. Ben McKinnon. So there it is, zeros on the clock in the practice session. We're going to jump right into a 10-minute Q run. 2 laps or 10 minutes, whichever completes first. See who grids up first here to start their qualifying attempt. And looks like it may be Russ Endicott first to roll. 57 machine coming up to speed. Going to start his lap right now. And the cop might be throwing away this first lap here. It's running mid to the high line here. It comes right down to the bottom of the racetrack, though, at start-finish. But first lap in the books for the 57. 39.515. Meanwhile, Albert Anderson, top time for the moment. Anderson on his second lap ran a 39.28 his first lap, way down the bottom of the racetrack, right to the apron here, coming back to start finish. Lap one quicker by about a tenth and a half. Anderson still P1, not for long though. Connor Leach goes top of the board. His second lap is quicker, 39.260 for the 71 of Connor Leach. Derek Welch on his out lap, sleeping pit lane. Track temp is up just a bit from practice, about 6 degrees hotter than it was previously. We have a little bit less cloud cover too. Still forecasted for cloudy skies, but you can see the track bathed in a bit of sunlight here. Welch is out of turn 4. Welch takes the green. Connor Leach still the top time, 39.260. Albert Anderson second quick with a 27. Jesse Redding third with a 28. Very close times here at the top of the board. Welch back to start finish, drops it down to the apron. First lap for the 1. Goes P1, 39.232. A quick lap for Derek Welch. Joe David on the track. 8th quick on his first lap, a 40.086. Certainly room for improvement there. A little bit of cloud cover, that should help a little bit of the handling if the temperatures come down and if those clouds stay put. Joe David back to start finish. Lap 2 in the books. Picks up the pace, but not positions. 39.726 for Joe David. First lap in the books for Chris Klein, 39.32. While Dylan Bryant goes outside front row with a 24. Klein back to the bottom of the racetrack as well, shortening things up, crosses the line, finishes it up, 39.451 for Chris Klein, 7th quick. Chris Goins on the track. And just like that, Chris Goins, P1, 39.221 for the 41 machine. Lap 2 in the books, 2:62. Pretty consistent lap 1 to 2. Not quicker, but Goins on the pole position here at Michigan so far. Zach Millett on track. The 315 HBR TV Toyota Camry. A little bit more cloud cover for Millett. Track temp is cooling down considerably too, down to 101, right where it was in practice. We'll see if Millett's got anything for Chris Goins. And there it is, P1 for Zach Millett, 39.179 for his first lap. We'll see if he can improve on lap 2. Some have not. Josh Moore, quick as well, 39.21. Moore goes P2. Millett able to hold the car to the bottom in the middle of 3 and 4. Doesn't come up too high on the exit of 4 either. Shortens up the lap. We'll see if he can improve on that first lap. It was quick before. Not quicker this time. A 24 for Zach Millett. And he goes second quick. Matt Sisler goes P1. 39.164 for the number 93 Three Birdies machine. Best Zach Millett's time by 2/100ths of a second. Sisler across the stripe for his second lap, slows down a bit as well, but it doesn't matter. That first one was fast enough. That should do it for our qualifying session. We're going to take a short break here. We'll be back with our starting grid after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back to Michigan Speedway. Let's take a look at our starting grid for race number 12 of the Davidson Builders Cup Series. On the pole position with a lap time of 39.164 seconds, it's Matt Sisler. Outside front row from Track Bar Motorsports, it's the 315 of Zach Millett. Missed it by 15 thousandths of a second. Row number 2, it's Josh Moore and Chris Goins. Row 3, Derek Welch and Dylan Bryant. Row number 4, Connor Leach and Albert Anderson. Row 5, Jesse Redding and Alfie Charon Jr. Starting from the 11th position will be Paul Durkee. Nick Biddy rolls from the 12th spot. 13th goes to Mark Collins. 14th to Chris Klein. 15th starter, it's the 55 of Tom Barris. Sean Roberts will roll 16th. 17th starter, it's Russ Endicott. Brandon Coleman in the 11 will start from the 18th position. Ben McKinnon, the number 12 machine, starts 19th. 20th, the 6 of Joe David, and 21st, last but not least, it's the 5 of Anthony Williams. Your starting grid from Michigan Speedway. We'll be rolling momentarily here. Field starting to pull away down pit lane here. 1 lap behind the iRacing pace car before we go green. Few stragglers here at the back of the pack. We may go an extra lap here. We'll see if the admins decide to do so. And we're getting ready to go green. Pace car is in. We wait for Barney to wave the flag, and we'll be underway. Field approaching the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. Matt Sisler brings them up to speed, and we're racing from Michigan. One car touches the wall off turn number 2. Not sure who it was. It might have been Dylan Bryant. Everybody gets through cleanly. Millet takes over the top spot quickly down into turns 3 and 4. And Sisler battling now with Josh Moore for the second spot. Out of turn 4, Millet with the lead, about a 3/10 advantage back to the 93. Across the stripe, Millet leads lap number 1. Sisler runs in second. Moore, Gones, Bryant in the top 5. Bryant was indeed the driver that touched the wall on the exit of turn number 2, but doesn't seem to be slowing his pace at all as he's tucked up in behind the 93, slides up the track just a little bit off of turn number 2. Going to see this quite a bit here tonight. These cars moving at such high rates of speed as Chris Gones steps out of line, look to the inside, going 3 wide into turn 3, taking a couple positions away. Gones tucks up behind Dylan Bryant. Gonna go 3 wide yet again. Chris Gones very aggressive out the gate here at Michigan. My apologies, we got the paint schemes mixed up here. The 41 is Chris Gones. The 9 is the car we were watching. We got trouble off turn number 2. 2 or 3 cars involved, if not more. Tom Barish might have got a piece of it as well. Caution is out. Joe David, Ben McKinnon, Paul Durkee seem to be all involved in this. Anthony Williams is rolling. Williams not involved in this. Might have gotten a late start, but let's, man, I don't know if I can even find it. It doesn't show the incident. We'll give it a shot here. We'll try this. Let's try this again. We're going to have to rewind this one a bit. Things kind of came together here off of turn number 2. Watch the 13. Is it Russ Endicott that comes up and clips the 13? Yep. On the straightaway. They weren't even in the corner anymore. Endicott gets into the 13, sends him down into Sean Roberts. Then Durkee, unfortunately, trying to save it, though. Cuts across the track. Collins gets clear. Barish gets clear. Does not have contact there. And I think the 6 of Joe David just had to scatter. I don't think he was really involved in this either, so he's going to get away with this one. So we're under the Muhlberger Custom Homes yellow flag. First time tonight, lap number 5. Handful of drivers making it to pit lane. Dylan Bryan, Alfie Charon, Welch, Leach, Biddy, Roberts, Coleman, Endicott, Collins, Barish, McKinnon. And so far, we only got one stream chatter. It's Lori Vaught. Hey, Steve, good luck tonight. Team All-Star and DW. With some pit stops complete, looks like everybody's just topping off the fuel tanks. There's a few obviously involved in the incident itself that put us under the yellow flag. Paul Durkee, Sean Roberts getting some repairs made to their vehicles. Again, Sean Roberts with a new paint scheme this week in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Save the Tatas. Couldn't agree more. Paul Durkee also in pit lane, getting some repairs made to his machine. Hopefully he can get back out there and compete. Down and away he goes, but Sean Roberts still sits idle in his pit stall. Roberts got it fired up. He drives away. Alfred Charon, TBM, taking it all tonight in the chat. You got Zach Millett says, go TBM. These guys posting in the chat while they're driving. No, you're not cocky at all. At least it's under yellow. I've had some guys try and type in the chat while they're racing. So 6 laps in, we got the caution pretty early on here. First one of the night. Gotta love this drone footage we have here with this camera pack. Certainly need to appreciate Whiplash SimCams for their hard work and efforts creating these custom cameras. If you need a camera pack for your broadcast platform, check those guys out. They're on Facebook, Twitter, Discord, you name it. Whiplash SimCams. Talk to Andrew, he'll get you squared away. So pace car is in. Gonna be lap 7 when we take the green. Barney's got it. He's waving it. We're racing. Millett off the jump. Contact to the second place battle, though, between the 18 of Moore and Matt Sisler. A little bit of rubbing already into turns 1 and 2. Millett gets out to a 10.5 over these two as they continue to fight for the second spot. Sisler tucks right in behind the 315. Going to snip the draft. Moore's going to lose a little bit of ground as Albert Anderson's going to pull up, take the third spot away, pushing the 93 of Sisler into turns 3 and 4. Anderson up the racetrack, a lane and a half. He's going to tuck back in. In fact, Sisler's going to close the door, but changes his mind, tucks back in, sticks with Zach Millett, and now Anderson losing some ground as Moore's going to take the draft off the top 2. Anderson switching lanes, go to the bottom of the racetrack. We're going to watch this battle between the 99 and the 18. Meanwhile, Jesse Redding looking to the top side, trying to take advantage to the top lane on the 18. Now we're 3 wide, at least we were for just a moment. Anderson loses a bit of ground. Again, we talked about it in the open. This place is not technically a super speedway, but man, does it certainly seem to drive that way. You need some drafting help to make these runs pay off. You can get a good run out of a corner, get up alongside a guy, but if you don't have that lead car to pull a draft, it can be very difficult to complete that pass. Meanwhile, we're 3 wide here for position. Anderson in the middle, Dylan Bryan up top, Josh Moore on the bottom, still 3 wide. Alfie Charon and Chris Klein in behind, and the 11 of Coleman. Millett continues to lead now over Matt Sisler, about a tenth and a half. Out of line, Alfie Charon goes to the inside, had a big run, couldn't give it up. Jumps to the bottom of the racetrack. He might get 2 for 1 here, or will he? No drafting partner here. Charon in the 5th spot for now. Not able to tuck up behind the 28 of Bryant. Bryant goes up the racetrack, gets back in line in front of Chris Goins. Goins is going to chase the 28, but now Goins and Charon going to be lined up. Teammates going to possibly work together. Charon's got to get close enough to make it work while Anderson goes to the top side. He's going to go 3 wide again, and here it is. Anderson, Goins, and Charon. They were 3 wide off turn number 2. Little bit of contact off of turn number 2. Everybody seems to get away clean. Coleman still in the mix, makes some contact, sends the 41 into Charon. Goins checks up a bit, doesn't want to be part of that mess. Saw the accident that was getting ready to happen. Anderson looking fast here tonight. That number 99 machine. We got Eddie Rose in the chat. Thanks for checking in, Eddie. Hey, man, we got some trivia for us tonight, don't we? Every time you're here, we got to get some trivia. Plenty of racing left, so if you don't know one, find something. 11 laps complete here at Michigan Speedway. Zach Millett, Matt Sisler, Albert Anderson, Jesse Redding, Brandon Coleman, the top 5. Redding and Coleman side by side, about a half foot apart out of turn number 4. But seems that everywhere that Zach Millett goes, Matt Sisler wants to go too. Bit of a snake coming out of turn number 4, much like Pocono or Indianapolis. Guys trying to break the draft. The guy's chasing, not wanting to give up that draft. Anderson looking to the outside of Matt Sisler for the 2nd spot. Coleman trying to take advantage of that move. He does so as Anderson's didn't pay off. Coleman gets to the bottom alongside the 99. Anderson now with no drafting partners to work with. Give Coleman the 3rd spot as he's on the move towards the front. Oh, it was awful close there into the corner. Millett, Sisler, and Coleman were bumper to bumper to bumper. Everybody gets away clean. Millett still with the lead as they go down the back straightaway. Top 4, top 5, single file, but for how long as Redding is feeling some pressure from Chris Goins and Alfie Charon. Those two are side by side, though. Might give the 21 a bit of a reprieve while they continue to fight. Board with Jesse Redding looking back at teammate Alfie Charon. See, Alfie's already got some paint missing off the nose of his number 9 machine. I'd like to say the field is starting to spread apart here just a bit and get some distance between one car to the next, but it's just not happening. The draft too strong here. Alfie Charon, late entry into turn number 3. Thought he was going to go up the racetrack. Rear end of that car stepped out, but he keeps his foot in the gas. He gets clear of Chris Goins off turn number 4. Top 3, top 4 unchanged, but now the 5th position is Alfie Charon. Sharon with a big run off turn number 2. He's going to fly by Albert Anderson. Anderson may have scraped the right side in the safer barrier, but again, no drafting help. And here comes a big-time push from Chris Goins. Gets into the back of Jesse Redding. I don't know if Jesse had to lift to avoid getting into the 9, but man, both of those guys had a huge run down the back straightaway. Sharon gets clear of Albert Anderson, so moving the 9 up into the 4th spot. Starting to seem like Sharon might be losing the right front on that race car. Big time check up there off of turn number 2. Allowed Jesse Redding to close the gap and give a bit of a bump draft to the 9, but it's given him some momentum to push him alongside and possibly by the 11 of Brandon Coleman. Side by side, slamming doors. The 11 and the 9 make some contact into turn 1. Coleman's going to drive up away just a bit. Again, we still got 3 Track Bar Motorsports drivers in line together. That's Alfie Charon, Jesse Redding, Chris Goins. Out in front, another TBM driver, it's Zach Millett. Charon not quite clear of Coleman yet. There it is, off turn 4. Quickly clears the 11 to move Alfie up into P3. Coleman trying to battle back, will ride on board with the 11. Big run from Coleman down the back straightaway. Will he step out, make a move? No, stays in the line.
There will be a caution.
And the caution comes out. Not sure who was involved. Russ Endicott in the fence down the backstretch. It's a strange place to have an incident. This is before the entry to turn 3. And yet again, I don't have any indicator as to why we have the yellow for this. Let's see if we can figure this one out. iRacing shows the caution, but doesn't give me the incident anymore, at least not tonight. Let's take a gander, shall we? Oh, okay. This is 3 or 4 car incident down the back straightaway. Back it up a little further to get a better look at it, because earlier on, Endicott was involved in our first yellow. See if we can look at it from the blimp. Okay, so I think some of this might have had something to do with the car in front. That's the 12 of Ben McKinnon. Losing connection. Guys get a little apprehensive with that, and Moore comes down trying to make some room, it seems, but gets into the right rear of Russ Endicott, sends him into Anthony Williams. And again, Mark Collins in the 23 is lucky to get away with this. Doesn't get collected in this one. He was very close to the same in the first yellow, but there you see it. Russ Endicott in trouble here in the back straightaway. Meanwhile, we do have some pit stops underway. Just about everybody coming down. Zach Millett, Matt Sisler, Alfie Charon included. Brandon Coleman, Redding, Goins, Klein. The entire field with the exception of Nick Biddy, who I believe is still sitting in his pit box. Fuel only yet again, 20 laps in, no sense to put some tires on, but looks like Sisler is going to win the race off of pit road. The 93 will take over the top spot. Millett will relegate himself back to P2. Alfie Charon in the 9, again running the Popple Teams paint scheme. I called him Chris Goins for the first handful of laps. So Eddie Rose in the stream chat coming in here during a caution. Perfect opportunity to ask a trivia question. He asked if I had mentioned the manufacturer with the most wins at Michigan. I have not, and it's a great trivia question. I don't have any idea. I'm going to say that it's Ford. That's my guess, but yeah, that's the question. What manufacturer, Chevy, Ford, Toyota, could even be Oldsmobile or Buick from back in the day, but who has won the most races here at Michigan Speedway as far as vehicle manufacturer is concerned. Eddie, give us a little bit here before we give that answer out, but anybody else in the stream chat care to weigh in, feel free. Again, my guess is Ford, and I'm not happy about it, but whatever. Give credit where it's due. So 22 laps complete, or 21 laps complete on lap 22 here at Michigan Speedways. We're currently under the Muhlberger Custom Homes yellow flag. Season starting to wind down. We got Michigan, of course, tonight, Iowa next week, then Charlotte, Talladega, and then Homestead Miami Speedway on November the 5th, Election Day. Make sure you get out to those polls, cast your vote. Another note for next week, unfortunately, and these dates are a little wonky here. There was some typos and some changes, but next week at Iowa Speedway, unfortunately, I am traveling for my day job, and I will not be able to broadcast from Iowa. I don't know if NTRL has a backup plan for that, but nevertheless, the race will go on. We'll catch up with you guys again in Charlotte. So we're doubled up getting ready for the restart here. Eddie, why don't you go ahead and fill us in on who is the leading wins manufacturer here at Michigan? Since nobody wanted to weigh in. We got Tower Operator says, good evening, go 18 more. Pace car is in. Barney with the green in hand yet again as we're ready for our second restart of the night. Green flag in the air. Sisler brings them up to speed. Billett just has to react. Sisler tucks in behind Millett. Might have been some contact on the nose of Alfie Cherin. It was a very tight space for the 93 to squeeze in, but he got it done. Millett retakes the top spot. Sisler hangs on to second after a little bit of bumper cars in the middle of 3 and 4. Back to the stripe. Millett leads the lap, the top two, putting a little bit of distance on the pack. They're likely to close that gap back up quickly. Going back to the trivia question, Eddie Rose does confirm it is indeed Ford Motor Company with most wins here at Michigan. We'll watch this battle for the third spot between Alfie Cherin and Chris Klein. Plus EV Racing chiming in. Great camera angles as always. EV Racing, thanks for saying so. We do appreciate that. Again, those camera angles courtesy of Whiplash Sim Cams. Andrew over at Whiplash has some real-world camera experience at these local short tracks. And certainly applies to the big tracks as well. Does a great job. Millett still out in front now, battle for the second spot. Cherin goes to the bottom of the racetrack. He's got drafting help to work with. He's going to hang Sisler to the top side. Cherin jumps to the bottom, looking for more room to get around Millett. Millett swaps positions as well. He goes down, and Sisler crosses over the nose of the 9. He wants to keep on the draft of the 315. That's going to help him hang on to that second spot. Cherin had enough of a run. I thought he was going to get clear of Sisler, but to no avail. The 9 hangs to the third spot. Coleman fourth. Chris Klein up into the 5th position. He's made a run here up 9 positions, but more importantly, Brandon Coleman, he started 18th here tonight. He's up in the 4th spot. Big time battle here further back in the pack, just outside the top 10. Albert Anderson running in 11th. Bit of a hornet's nest for the time being. He's got the 13 of Paul Durkee to the outside. Sean Roberts approaching. Derek Welch on his tail. Welch likely to tiptoe around the 99 just a bit when he gets there. Doesn't want to wreck the 99 for certain. In fact, he might want to work together with Albert Anderson and try and push their way back towards the front. Anderson was up near the front within that top 5 earlier on in this race. Was doing a great job with it. I think with a little bit of co-opetition, as DW would say. I think him and DW can make their way towards the front of the field. And there you have it. Derek Welch tucks in behind Albert Anderson. Anderson goes to the bottom of the racetrack, though no room for the 1 to chase him down. Derek may have a run off turn 2. 13 might have got the wall there just a moment ago. Loses a bit of ground, and Nick Biddy is back. Nick Biddy a handful of laps down, 4 to be specific. As we run, he's the only car 1 lap down. I'm sorry, 4 laps down. But that means if the caution comes out, he'd get one of those laps back. If we get a few more, he could be back on the lead lap. So certainly not worth throwing in the towel just yet. There's still a chance. Anderson now swapping positions with Derek Welch. Welch up into the 11th spot. They run 1-2 here in the field. Maybe they can work together and come up with a game plan to cut through this field and work themselves into the top 10 as Jesse Redding up the racetrack. Joe David going to the bottom. Meanwhile, battle for second yet again. Alfie Sharon to the inside. Billett goes way down the racetrack to avoid having them pulled and draft, and everybody else stays up. I think Sharon might have forced the 93 of Sisler to stay up top. May help his cause just a bit. Sharon puts the left sides below the yellow line. That's allowed, but risky to do. Now Sharon battling with the 28 of Dylan Bryant. Bryant all over the back bumper of the 9 off of turn number 2 down the backstretch. Connor Leach into the frame as well. Still a battle for the second spot. Sisler trying to battle back around the outside of Alfie Sharon. Dylan Bryant trying to push him up. Billett keeps changing lanes, though, trying to pull the top along, then switches it up, pulls the bottom along. Try to keep those guys in behind him, fighting for position. It helps Millett maintain the top spot. Eddie Rose in the chat again. He's got another trivia question. How many different drivers have won a race in NASCAR at Michigan? How many different drivers? Now, I don't know if this is the Cup Series or the Top 3 Touring Series, but I guess either way. Top 3 still relatively unchanged. Sisler doing a good job maintaining that second position, not willing to yield the spot to the 9. Chris Goins in the 8th position, working with Brandon Coleman, trying to take that spot. Goins might have hurt the tires a bit early on in this run. Certainly not as fast and aggressive as he was at the drop of the green flag, running back in the 8th position. Eddie Rose confirming he is asking about the Cup Series. So how many different Cup winners have there been at Michigan? Single file all the way back to P14 in Joe David. As Sean Roberts makes a move to the inside on Sean Roberts. On Albert Anderson. There we go. I'll be all right. Roberts can't get it done. No drafting partners to work with. He's tucking in behind Albert Anderson. This is the battle for the 12th position. Anderson holds it for the time being. More cloud cover on the racetrack. That's going to lower the track temp just a bit. Track temp 105 degrees Fahrenheit currently. And the sun popping out again on the backstretch. Meanwhile, out in front, Alfie Charon finally getting through. Takes the second spot from Matt Sisler. Dylan Bryant licking his chops, looking to do the same. He wants that third position now. Sisler pulls it hard left to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to give Bryant the draft as Connor Leach is coming. Eddie Rose with the answer to the trivia question. How many winners in the Cup Series have there been at Michigan? The answer was 41. Jaron making a move for the race lead alongside teammate Zach Millett. Gets down there pretty cleanly. I wonder if Millett just opened the door and let him go, or if Charon's got that much under the hood that he's ready to go after a race win here tonight. Bit of a push from the 315, a bump draft if it were. So new leader, lap 38. Alfie Charon out in front. Millett runs second. Matt Sisler runs third. Connor Leach is fourth. Chris Klein battling with Chris Goins for the fifth spot. Side by side out of turn number 2. Klein to the inside in that red, white, and blue number 51 Camry. Goins wins the battle, and Klein now continues to fall back as he's got nowhere to tuck back in line and sniff some of that draft. Still sitting alongside Dylan Bryant, trying to fight back. In the middle of the corner, you can make it work, but on the straightaways here, that's where those runs are really developed. Car in the wall might have been Tom Barish. Indeed it was. Out of turn number 2, the 55 scrapes the safer barrier. We stay under green. Barish able to continue on, but at a reduced pace. Barish just going to cross his fingers here for a caution to come out, get him caught back up, maybe bolt on some tires. That's the scenario here right now. Looks like just about everybody on track here still working on their original set of tires. Oh, Albert Anderson gets the wall off turn number 2. Pancakes the right sides. And I think that's going to really go back to what we just talked about with the tires. We're almost halfway. I don't think anybody's put on new rubber yet. Some contact here. We got a car in the wall. The 13 hits the fence. So does Sean Roberts. Joe David gets into the 11 of Coleman. And there's the yellow. Sean Roberts spinning down the racetrack. Tom Barish now gets into the back of somebody else. That might have been Paul Durkee. Roberts trying to get going here. Hard to do that on the banking. He's got her rolling, though. Let's take a peek. Incident already underway at this point. So it appears this may have started with the 11 and the 13. The 11 is going to come up and give a pretty significant bump to the 13. That's Paul Durkee, and it kind of catches him off center, sends him down in the 33 of Sean Roberts. 13 goes up the track, gets the wall. Coleman trying to turn hard left to avoid. Now Sean Roberts, who's just trying to save it at this point, he goes up the fence. Paul Durkee's going to drive into him, so he's going to hit him more than once here. Then some cars further back. Hard to tell who that one is. It looks like it could be the 18. Then Barish is going to get into 13 machine, or is that the 12? I think that's Ben McKinnon. Yeah, it's Ben McKinnon. Well, pit stop's underway yet again. Everybody coming down. Will they take tires on this first stop? I'm going to say probably yes. Third caution of the night. Some do, some don't. Dylan Bryant, fuel only. He's going to leave pit road first. Chris Klein did the same. Alfie Charon Jr., he's going to come out in third, but he's the first driver out there with fresh tires. Derek Welch, a 10.9 second stop. Now, that could have been fuel only. It would be a long stop for just fuel, but more than likely right sides only for the one. Zach Millett comes out fifth. 15.02 was his stop. That's 4 tires. Matt Sisler was 4 tires. Connor Leach was 4 tires. Joshua Moore, however, 7.7 second stop. Quick stop. Comes out in 8th. Jesse Redding taking 4 tires. He'll come out 9th. Mark Collins 10th with fuel only. Interestingly enough, Bryant's going to come back down. I think Albert Anderson going to do the same. Bryant just topping off the tanks a little further. Still no tires, though. Anderson topping off as well. So out front, as we get ready for green here, Chris Klein's going to lead them back to the start-finish line. Again, keep in mind here, Klein on old tires. The majority of the field decided to go with 4. Some opted for a little bit of a combination with right sides only. But watch the 51 here. Got to be sure he doesn't spin the tires coming up to speed. Base car is in.
Green, green, green.
Green flag back in the air. Klein on the gas, coming up to speed without issue. Derek Welch in behind. Klein trying to inch up the racetrack in front of Alfie Charon. It may work for a corner or two, but Charon swaps lanes, goes to the bottom of the racetrack. And sayonara. Shows the advantage that fresh tires have. Out of turn 2, Alfie Charon back to the point. Millett runs second, Connor Leach third. Fourth is still Klein for now, but the 21 of Redding takes that spot. Chris Goins going to pull up in behind as well. Three wide out of turn number 4. Klein, the meat and the sandwich. Goins up top. Sisler on the bottom. Anthony Williams coming into the frame as well. Free falling is Chris Klein. Man, he is probably kicking himself for not taking tires there. Really could use a caution. He's going to be well off the pace with that old rubber. The benefit there, though, is he'll have extra tires still sitting over the wall for later on in the race. We'll see how that pans out. Billett making a look to the inside for the race lead, but Connor Leach has got his own plan. He goes to the outside for the second spot, and he's going to drive around them both. Connor Leach with a massive run through turns 1 and 2, goes from third to first in one fall swoop. Connor Leach, your new leader down the back straightaway. Talk about a slingshot pass. It moves the 71 of Connor Leach out in front here, crosses the stripe, makes it official. Lap 48 goes up on the board. Just a couple of shy halfway, but Millen all over the back bumper of the 71 in turn 1. Billett switches lanes, now in front of the 9 of Alfie Charon. Charon may be able to sniff some draft there. Track Bar Motorsports drivers run 2nd through 5th currently. Billett trying to take over the race lead from Connor Leach to no avail. Leach will have the run out of turn 4, but Jesse Redding picked up some pace as well. He's right in the tire tracks of the 71 as they cross the stripe. Redding now challenging for the race lead. Redding side by side with Connor Leach into turns 3 and 4. Leach battling back on the outside. Redding on the bottom of the racetrack. Exit turn number 4, going to cross the stripe, put lap 50 up on the tower. Redding can't complete the pass. Tucks back in behind the 71. Now Chris Goins rolls up in the 3rd spot. Now it's an opportunity. If he goes to the bottom, there he goes. Was Chris Goins going to follow him? He might. Or does Redding just have the pace out of turn 2? Can he get clear? No, not quite. Nope, there it is. Redding to the point, down the back straightaway, just past halfway here at Michigan Speedway. Redding putting some distance between himself and the field already, about a half-second advantage. I don't know if this is good or bad because he's way out in front. If these guys can draft on up, it might really be a detriment to the 21. We'll keep a close eye on it for the time being. Meanwhile, in 2nd, Connor Leach. 3rd, Chris Goins. Sisler runs in 4th, almost getting turned off the nose of Zach Millet. And here comes Brandon Coleman on the bottom of the racetrack with a big-time run. Just over 100 miles in the books here from Michigan. We're going to step aside, get an HPR TV side-by-side break out of the way, our only of the afternoon. We'll be back after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
So much has changed during the break. Brandon Coleman puts the number 11 out in the wind, takes the top spot. Behind him, it's Zach Millett, Alfie Sharon, Chris Goins, Jesse Redding, and Anthony Williams up into the top 5. Williams started dead last year tonight in the 21st position, got into the session very late, but has fought his way up into a challenging position in P4 here. Nick Biddy to the inside. Biddy still not on the lead lap. Sisler has dropped back a bit, now in the 8th position. Connor Leach, Derek Welch rounding out the top 10. Sisler tucks in behind Redding. On board with the 11. Nick Biddy taking a lap back on his own. Coleman losing the nose of the race car just a bit, slides up the track in the middle of 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Millett has closed the gap to within just a few feet off the back bumper of the 11 as they're back in turn 1. Millett saving some fuel, lift and coast into 3. Picks up the throttle in the apex, back on the gas. Fuel window tonight between 24 and 28 laps, so we still got some pit stops to be concerned with. To the outside of Zach Millett. Alfie Sharon thought about making a move. Millett slides up the racetrack. Sharon tucks back in behind. Chris Goins, Jesse Redding, all Trek Bar Motorsports drivers, 2nd through 5th. Yet again, Sisler now back in the 6th position. Connor Leach 7th in the battle for the 8th spot with Sean Roberts and Derek Welch. Welch the top of the racetrack in the black and green number 1. Roberts gets clear in the middle of 1 and 2 for now, but he's way down on the apron. Was 3 wide with Sisler and Leach for just a moment. Leach gets the wall off for turn 2. Everybody gets away clean. Pancakes the right side for the 71. Roberts now to the inside of Leach for position. This will be for the 7th spot if he can get it done. Leach way up the racetrack. Roberts way down to the bottom. On the exit now of 4. He is clear. And now Mark Collins comes up in the backside here at the 33. Might give him a push. No. Steps to the bottom of the racetrack now. 3 wide yet again. Roberts in the middle of the sandwich. Collins on the bottom. Leach up top. Roberts trying to hang on to it. Still 3 wide between Leach and now Tom Barish. Tucks in behind the 55. Roberts losing a couple of positions here. Well, out front, Coleman continues to lead over Millett, Sharon, Goins, and Redding. Then it's Sisler, Leach, Roberts, Williams, and Welch, the top 10. Mark Collins in the 17th position, and then Hardy's number 23 trying to get a lap back. Tom Barish doing the same. Might be a bit of a tire advantage for some of these drivers here within the top 5. Kind of interloping around. Again, Mark Collins, Tom Barish, 17th and 18th, but they are mixed in with the top 5 now. They made a pit stop here a little bit recent, put some tires on. It was about lap 53 that they did that. Now they're starting to work their way through with that extra grip. On board with Sean Roberts. A little bit of a moment off turn number 2 as he loses track position from Chris Goins and Jesse Redding. Looks like Sisler might get clear, but no, Roberts is going to battle back. Roberts shedding positions quickly. Roberts slips back to the 7th position. Takes 1 or 2 back now as Connor Leach and Sisler technically in behind. He's clear of Leach. Sisler still side by side. Battle out front though. Coleman and Millett is getting hot and heavy yet again. Coleman's still with the race lead, but with Millett and Alfie Charon Jr. running 2 and 3, plus some lap cars out in front. It's helping Coleman have a little bit of an assisted draft off the 23 and the 55 that are lap cars out in front, but they still punch the same hole in the air. Definitely a helpful thing to see for the 11. Leach now out of line, goes to the inside on Sean Roberts, trying to take the spot away. Meanwhile, Josh Moore hits pit lane. Josh Moore back to pit lane here. I don't know if it's a scheduled stop or if he's trying to gamble here with pit strategy, knowing he's got to make at least one more after this. 18 machine into his pit stall. And again, it looks like fuel only for Joshua Moore. 9, 10, 11 seconds plus. Not sure what's going on here with the 18. No tires going on the machine at this point. 21, 22, 23. I don't know if we got a penalty here. We'll go back and check on that later on. Meanwhile, back out front, top 3, Coleman, Millett, Charon, out at turn number 2. Sean Roberts not going away quietly. Fighting with Jesse Redding for the 5th spot. They're side by side and possible change for the lead up front. Millett took a peek to the inside on Coleman, but thought better of it. Tucks back in behind. You can save a whole lot more fuel in the draft than you can out in front. That very well could be part of the reason Millett runs in behind the 11. Sean Roberts just not willing to quit. Trying to show something for his performance here tonight. Been solid so far. Started 16th, still fighting to get into that top 5. Battle for the lead. Coleman on the bottom, Millett up top. Is Coleman coming to pit lane? Looks like he is. Brandon Coleman from the race lead is going to hit pit lane. So are some others. Sean Roberts, Joe David, they come down and pit. This could be their final stop if we stay green. They would be in trouble if we had a green-white checkered finish, but as it stands now, if we go green to the end, they should be able to make it. Tires going on as well, so that's certainly going to help their cause as Albert Anderson comes to a stop in his pit box as well. Meanwhile, out front, change of position yet again. Sharon had it for a moment. Now Connor Leach is going to take over the top spot. Derek Welch going to try and follow the 71 back into turn one. Still side by side for second with Alfie Sharon. Welch up top in the black and green, number 1. Sharon the bottom, and the Popple team is number 9. Now Zach Millett slips back to P4. Chris Goins on his back bumper. Then it's Jesse Redding, Matt Sisler, Chris Klein, Russ Endicott, and Dylan Bryant in the top 5. Drivers look like they're heading to pit lane here. Alfie Sharon is certainly going to do so. He's on the apron of the racetrack. And we got the land rush. Jesse Redding a little hot on entry. Has to switch it up topside to not run over his teammate. Himself, Goins, and Sharon get in without a problem. Millett as well. Leach as well. Whole top 9 come down to pit lane. You see them all there in a group on pit lane at the same time. Drivers doing an excellent job getting to their pit stalls. Millett, though, goes from 4th to the 2nd spot just on pit entry alone. Sisler, of course, pitted in front of the 315 as he took the pole position here tonight. Millett's likely to go down and away, and there he goes. He's out of pit lane first. Picked up the most on entry to the pits. He's going to be side by side with the then race leader, Connor Leach. Leach all over the back bumper of Zach Millett as they roll through turns 1 and 2 on the apron of the racetrack. Got to keep it pinned down there. Get that blue cone on the exit. That's your blend line. You cannot go past that up into the white line until you clear that cone. Back out front. Now Mark Collins takes over the top spot. We got Lisa Sperling in the chat. We don't have a Jesse Sperling in the race, but Lisa's still checking in. We appreciate that very much, Lisa. Thanks for checking in, saying hello. We wish Jesse was here tonight. So on front, it's Collins, Barish, Coleman, Roberts, and Leach. Leach finally got clear of Zach Millett. And I think this is all part of the strategy for the 315 here. Going to the fuel windows 24 to 28 laps, but 28 if you're really saving. I know he saved a lot in that last run, but he's going to have to continue to do so to make it to the end of this if we stay green. Of course, the caution would make it a little easier for everybody. But when that caution comes out is the big determining factor, is if it's a benefit or not. It comes out with 5 to go, maybe a little bit less. We catch a first green-white checkered. It's going to put these guys in the danger zone of running out of fuel. And don't forget, we've got 2 more after that if necessary. So up to 3 attempts at that final GWC. Meanwhile, still out front, it's the 23 and the 55. Mark Collins and Tom Barish. They've got about a 3/4 second advantage over the 11 of Brandon Coleman, who has been very fast all night tonight. It's not like he was up there on strategy. It's not like he was there on a fluke. He got there with just pace alone. He did a great job of it, but here we go. The battle underway. Side by side now, Connor Leach working the high side. He's really making that work. Gets clear. Coleman now alongside Barish. Gets around Tom. Now he gets clear. Mark Collins. He got 3 for 1 in turns 1 and 2. Goes from 4th to the race lead in one fall swoop. Connor Leach out in front, showing off some power. I talk about showing off power. Here comes the 11. Brandon Coleman says, look, I can do it too. You're not special. Now it's my turn. Coming to the line, it'll be 23 laps to go. Brandon Coleman out in front. Connor Leach runs second. Millett, Robertson, Collins, the top 5. Tom Barish now 6th. Alfie Sharon, Goins, Derek Welch, Jesse Redding, the top 10. Battle continues for the race lead. Brandon Coleman checked up quite a bit. Not sure if he's coming to pit lane, but now Zach Millett fills the second position. Robertson, Coleman. Coleman's fourth. On board with Zach Millett as he runs in the second position behind Connor Leach. 22 laps remain here from Michigan. Millett with a slight run down the back straightaway. Not enough, I don't think, to make a move. Big checkup from the 71. Don't know if he lost the rear end of the race car. Got a little loose. It steps out again. Middle of 3 and 4. Now Sharon goes by Millett and Connor Leach. Now side by side for the race lead at start finish. Laps remain. Alfie Sharon now to the point. Chris Goins pushing the 9. Oh, contact in middle of 3 and 4. And did Chris Goins save it? He did. Incredible save by the 41. He was 45 degrees sideways in the middle of 3 and 4. Tire smoke flying, and he saves the race car. Jones is going to slip back a few positions to 7th, now maybe 6th. But how hot did that right rear tire get in that slide? That's the thing he's going to have to be careful of in these next 20 laps. 3 wide, 4 position. Jesse Redding in the middle. Chris Klein makes some contact off the door of the 21 on the exit of turn 2. Now back to the race lead. Connor Leach, Terry takes the top spot. Alfie Sharon in his tire tracks. Alfie going back to the bottom. Back to the well yet again, trying to take that lead away. He's got a nose out in front. Off turn number 4. Millett switching lanes here. Going to give a bit of a push to the 9 if he can get there. It might take a lap or so, but he's closed up very quickly. Now he pushes Alfie Sharon back into turn 1. He takes the race lead back away from Connor Leach. Leach with Matt Sisler in behind. He'll get a run out of turn number 2, but Alfie's clear. Connor's going to have to switch lanes and dive back to the inside. Will he make the move? And there it is. Nope, he thought about it. Took a look, but didn't have enough momentum to do it. Stays tucked in. Now Sisler applying pressure to Connor Leach for the second spot. Business has picked up here at Michigan Speedway, and as you would certainly tell if you're watching this broadcast, things are getting a bit more aggressive. Connor Leach to the outside. Side by side for the battle for the race lead yet again. Leach is barely clear. There it is. Alfie Sharon tucks in behind the 71 again. Millett pulls out a line. No one really helping him there. Chris Goins stays tucked in behind Matt Sisler, but Millett with a big-time run into turn 3 alongside and clear of Alfie Sharon. He's alongside Connor Leach for the race lead. Slides up the racetrack, loses the nose just a bit with the dirty air off the 71. Coming back to the stripe, 17 laps to go. Leach out in front. Millett second. Sharon runs third. Sharon pulls it hard to the bottom of the racetrack yet again, trying to make a move towards the front. Off turn number 2, not enough to do it. Tucks back in behind the 315. A little bit of action off turn 2, and Chris Klein and Jesse Redding are in trouble. Caution is on the Speedway. Redding on the brakes, trying not to hit that inside wall. Chris Klein continues on. So, 4th caution of the night. Trouble off turn number 2. Let's take a peek. Not much to really see here. It looked like it could have been a push gone wrong from the 1 of Derek Welch. Let's back it up further and get a better angle on it. Hopefully this is a good one. Left side of the frame, you see the black and green, both black and green cars, the 21 and the 1. Of course, we're going to lose them in the trees. Redding gets the fence off too, gets him crossed up and into the right rear of Chris Klein, and then Derek gets into him. Really nowhere for the one to go. So on board here, we'll go real time. Just a racing deal, it looks like. Close quarters, aggression level going up. So we look towards the front of the field. You see Millett down on the apron of the racetrack here. He's trying to go the shortest distance from point A to point B he possibly can here to try and save as much fuel as humanly possible. He does edge out in front of Leach here by quite a bit. He's got to be careful not to get in trouble for passing under the yellow flag, but Leach takes the spot back quickly as we pace behind the iRacing pace car. With this break, we're going to take an opportunity to step away. We'll be back after this. Stay with us. Back at Michigan Speedway. On the one to go. We'll get the restart lap. 13 laps to go. Connor Leach, Zach Millett on the front row. Row 2 will be Alfie Charon and Matt Sisler. Then Chris Goins, Sean Roberts, Brandon Coleman, Anthony Williams. Looks like Jesse Redding and Russ Endicott rounding out the top 10. Redding able to get back into that top 10. Made a pit stop, took tires lap 73. Looks like just about everybody pit around lap 73, but everybody south of the top 10 pit on this caution. So we'll have to watch those drivers and see how that pans out. Pace car about to pull in.
Ready, green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Connor Leach on the jump. Millett and Alfie Charon battle for the second spot. Top 4 all in a row. Chris Goins thought about stepping to the inside, but thought better of it. Stays tucked in behind the 9. Brandon Coleman gives the 41 a push into turn 3. Leach way up the racetrack. Might be some contact there with the 41 and the 315. They get through clear. Chris Klein, though, with some fresh tires. He's working his way through. The 51 on the back bumper of Brandon Coleman. Now he's got Albert Anderson to his inside. Anderson also bolting on his last set of tires. Meanwhile, up front, Zach Millett retakes the top spot. How long will he hold it? Fresh rubber coming in from behind. Millett switches lanes, tries to block the advance from Alfie Charon, but in fact it allows the 71 to close the gap a little bit more. Connor Leach right there into turn 3. And Albert Anderson with the nitrous oxide boost into turn 3. Where did the 99 come from? Doesn't matter. I know where he's at now, and that's the race lead with 11 laps to go at the line. Albert Anderson leads. Millett second. Connor Leach was third, now fourth. Wow, Albert Anderson out of a cannon. That's the difference in 10-lap older tires. Those guys starting to fall back. Anderson out front. He took his last set of tires here just a few laps ago. Now Chris Klein also taking full advantage of fresh rubber. He's to the inside of Zach Millett. He takes the second spot. So out in front, it's the 99 of Anderson. Second, Chris Klein in the 51. I'm board with Albert Anderson looking back at Chris Klein and the rest of this NTRL field. Anderson barely lifting in the middle of the corner. You hear the RPMs, they drop, but not a whole lot. Chris Klein right to the back bumper, but Anderson drives it in just a bit deeper. Anderson looking for his second win on the season. Started it off with a win in Kansas way back in late July. Here we are now in mid-October, looking to pick up his second one of the season. Now 8 laps to go, but can he hold off Chris Klein? It's right there to the back bumper. On board with Chris. Klein just running right in the tire tracks of Albert Anderson. Neither one of these drivers need to save fuel. They can run all the way to the end, plus then some more. 7 laps to go at the stripe. Anderson still out in front, about a 2/10 of advantage over Chris Klein. Welch now up into the third spot. Bryant runs fourth. Millett relegated back to P5. Watch the battle for the race lead. Klein still in the tire tracks of the 99, but here comes Welch and Bryant. These 4 drivers all going to battle it out as clean as humanly possible, I imagine. But who's going to take the checkered flag? Welch way up the racetrack, going to build a run out of turn number 4. Bryant goes with him. The top 2, though, slide up to slow the advance. Fresh tires are making all the difference as the guys with the new ones pit on lap 85. They all occupy the top 4 spots. Chris Klein gets the wall off turn 2. Welch has to take evasive action. So does Dylan Bryant, but they both stay in the gas. Top 4 go by. You see how far back Millett is. Klein now under pressure. He's going to lose that second spot as Welch gets to the inside with Dylan Bryant pushing. Anderson to the stripe, 5 laps to go. Jesse Sperling in the chat says, great broadcast as always, watching from Chicago. Too bad you're not here, man, but I appreciate you checking in to watch. Chris Klein real loose off turn number 2 yet again. It's going to open the door for Dylan Bryant. Bryant now to the inside for the 3rd position. Coming to 4 laps to go. Anderson still leads. He's starting to put some distance on these 3 drivers in behind. We'll see if Welch can reel him in. Welch, fresh off a win in the Xfinity Series this week. We'll see if he can pick up a second win here in the Gen 6 Cup car. 4 laps remain. Anderson out in front. 3/10 the advantage back to Derek Welch. A side-by-side battle for third between Klein and Bryant. There's the top 4. There's the rest. Billett leads the second pack. He's in the 5th position. Then it's Charon, Sisler, Collins, Goins, and Leach the top 10. Without a caution, I don't see how this is going to change a whole lot, at least outside the top 4. Anderson, Welch, Klein, and Bryant back to the stripe. 3 laps to go. There's the difference from the lead to second. A car length and a half, maybe 2, back to Derek Welch. Welch closing the gap into turn number 3. Anderson with the lead. He certainly shrunk that down to about 2.5 tenths, but Anderson pulls back away in the middle of 3 and 4. Now the battle for third again between Bryant and Klein. 2 laps to go. Welch took a peek to the outside, trying to throw a feint here a bit, but it's opened the door for Bryant. Bryant there looking to the outside on Derek Welch, applying pressure to the 1. This is definitely what Albert Anderson wanted to see, is Bryant battling with the second place machine, but now it's not a battle, it's a big push. Welch has the run, he gets to the inside, into turn number 3, Derek Welch for the race lead, alongside Albert Anderson. Anderson's gonna battle back on the outside, he goes topside. Big time run coming off of turn number 4. Who's going to lead it to the white flag lap? Barney's got it in hand. Final lap from Michigan. Anderson leads it to the stripe. Welch slips back to P3 as Bryant pushes Anderson back to the race lead. One more circuit for the 99. Can he park it in victory lane, or will Dylan Bryant spoil it? Bryant, big run off of turn number 2. Pulls it to the inside yet again, just like we saw Welch do. Will Welch now hang with the 99? Final lap into turn number 3. Albert Anderson up top. Down to the bottom is Dylan Bryant. Who's going to win it? Coming back to the stripe. Still, Anderson on the throttle. He'll have the momentum off turn number 4. Coming to the start finish. Who's going to win it? They make contact. Anderson gets into the 21 of Bryant. And Anderson crosses the stripe first. Albert Anderson takes the win. Dylan Bryant will take the second place position. Derek Welch third and Chris Klein fourth. Wow. What a race. What a finish. Albert Anderson picking up win number 2 on the season here at Michigan. Might be some hurt feelings after this one. I don't know. Let's take another look at it. This was off turn number 4, coming to the start finish for the final flag, the checkered flag. They make some contact. Bryant actually came up and got into the 99, and it really ended up hurting himself more than anything. Anderson takes it to the line. He wins the race. Albert Anderson with the win, celebrates here on the start-finish line. And the old Mikey Waltrip colors. Anderson's going to park it right on victory lane here at the start-finish line. Shuts her down, calls it a day. He'll step out and celebrate. We're going to step aside and get a break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Michigan Speedway, race 12 in the books, and Albert Anderson victorious after a thrilling race, a thrilling finish here at Michigan Speedway. Let's talk to the winner of tonight's race. Pull the driver of the number 99 Country Time Lemonade machine up into the broadcast booth. It's America's driver himself, Albert Anderson. It's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Hey, Steve. How you doing, bud?
We're doing good, sir. Win number 2. You started the season off in victory lane, and as the season starts to wind down, you pick up another one, man. Awesome race. How did you hold off Dylan Bryant there at the end when he tried to side draft you? It seemed he just bounced right off you.
Yeah, I mean, luckily we're teammates. DW got down next to me on the front stretch there. Dylan came up behind me and gave me a good push to get me out past DW, and then Dylan cleared him. And, we're on the same team, so we were communicating, and we just figured we were going to drag race down the straightaway for the win, And one of us is going to finish 1-2. And we touched doors, and I guess Dylan got loose when we touched doors, but he was still able to finish second. So it was a good night for All-Star.
Awesome race all around, and really the last third of this race was just incredible to call. Obviously that last lap, awesome to watch. You guys gambled there on that final caution. You came down pit lane, pulled it on that last set of tires, and it really showed. You drove past those guys like they were tied to a tree.
Yeah, that was the gamble that I was taking. I was betting on a caution, and it just happened to fall my way. It was luck. Obviously, I didn't have anything for Zach Millett and the guys that were up there, running in the top 3 or top 5. So, my thought process was at that point was to switch it up and get off strategy from everybody else. And it put me in victory lane tonight. So, I'm loving it. Absolutely. It secures me firmly in the next round of the playoffs. And it's just good night, man. I'm loving it.
Well, we've said it a lot here in the broadcast over the years, and it's a phrase that we've stolen from Larry Mack Reynolds himself, is if you follow the leader, you're going to do just that. You're going to follow the leader. So later on in this race, you guys pull some strategy to try and get that tire advantage. It paid off, and well, here you are in victory lane, man. Congratulations. So
there's one result when you're following Zach Millett, and that's you're going to get beat. So, following Zach, you're either going to end up finishing second or you're going to get beat. I mean, that guy's just got an incredible amount of talent. And, to beat Zach, you got to have a lot of luck, because talent just ain't going to cut it. So I got lucky tonight. I played a different strategy and I gambled a different way, and it ended up paying off. So, a win's a win, and I will take it. I want to give some shout outs real quick to my team, All-Star Racing. Russell Endicott, Dylan Bryant bringing it home second, bringing home another trophy to my girl Lori, and my son, mom, dad, everybody who tunes in and watches me race. Big shout out to DW and all the admins in the league. DW does a great job, puts on a great show here. And a big shout out to you, Steve. I love rewatching your broadcast, and you knock it out of the park every time, buddy. Thank you.
Well, Albert, we certainly do appreciate that, man. Again, congratulations. Win number 2 on the season and a pass into the next round of the playoffs, man. Congrats, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much, Steve. We'll see you next time, buddy.
It's Albert Anderson, your race winner here at Michigan Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to the 28 of Dylan Bryant, a hard-fought battle for Dylan Bryant. Oh, so close, coming to start-finish line. Contact made with the 99, and almost through the infield he went, but still finishes in the second spot. Dylan, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
Steve, what's going on, brother?
What's happening, Dylan? Congratulations, man. A strong run, 6th place start, 2nd place finish. That can't be too bad. I know your teammates there with the 99, and you guys tried to fight it hard to the finish line. Walk us through that final lap. Was it just an overestimation of contact there coming to start finish that sent you down the racetrack?
Yeah. I told Albert in 1 and 2 on the white flag. I was like, look, I'm gonna have a big run. I was like, I'm gonna take it, and he said, all right. And I was like, but I'm not gonna drive it in deep into into 3 and take a chance of screwing up me and him. Because he definitely needed the points and the win, because I won last Tuesday night, I tried. I knew the outside for him. He was going to have the momentum, and I tried to door him some, but I was expecting him to be up a little bit more, and I was trying to side draft, a tad bit more to slow him down, but I smacked him a tad bit hard, and I went down, and then it just broke loose. I loose on me, and I crashed. So it sucks that I'm sure about 3 or 4 or 5 cars got a 4X because of it. So my bad to them, and shout out to Albert, man. He done a great job.
Well, you guys all put on an awesome show here tonight. This was certainly a fun one to call, fun one to watch, I'm sure, for those out in the stream. Michigan Speedway really does put on a great show, but you need some talented drivers out there to really put on that show, and you guys certainly delivered on that here tonight. Looking forward to next week. Unfortunately, I'll be traveling, so HBR TV not going to pick up the broadcast, but Iowa Speedway next on tap. That's like a big Richmond, man. How do you feel about the chances at a solid finish next week at Iowa?
Yeah. I definitely like the way that Richmond drives, and you're right. It's similar. It's bigger, of course, but just trying to be smart about my points and stuff. I got a first and second, but then again, you get in an accident early and dead last, you could be in a good spot and then out of the playoffs. So I'm hoping to get a top 10, nothing too crazy, and make my way into the next round.
Well, we certainly look forward to it, Dylan. Again, congratulations. Who do you want to shout out to?
First and foremost, All-Star Racing. Albert is our fearless leader, and a shout out to him. Russell. I got a few friends that tunes in every week. So a shout out to Lori. Shout out to Larry Dickerson, and shout out to Derek and stuff too. He does more than enough for the league and stuff, and I think some changes might be coming up for next season, but I stand behind him and stuff, and I appreciate everything that he does. Tom Bears, Double O Joe, a shout out to them, all the sponsors, all the other admins and stuff that helps out. Steve, you're outstanding broadcaster. I love going back and watching you, and I won't get to talk to you next week, but hopefully in a few weeks, if I get a podium again, I get to talk to you again.
Well, I'll be down in Virginia, so just shoot me a message if you run well, Dylan. Certainly.
All right, Steve. Oh, yeah.
Good opportunity for it. Dylan, congratulations again. Second place, man. Good luck at Iowa.
Yes, sir. Have a good week.
Too. Dylan Bryant, your second place finisher here at Michigan Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to the fearless leader of the league himself. It's Derek Welch, owner, operator, primary admin. So you can pull our third place finisher up in the broadcast booth. Derek, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Derek, an awesome run here tonight. I just want to pick your brain here. I know those top 3 finishers all decided, you know what? Let's chance it. Let's put those tires on at lap 85. You guys did that, and man, you cut through the field like a hot knife through butter. Was that kind of the plan, knowing you had that extra set of tires left?
Oh, yes. Me and my teammate Chris Klein, and we decided, you know what, we're not going to beat Millett and Goins and on just straight up, So as long as we can keep up with with the draft and keep up with the pack, when we had that chance for a caution to come out, and it fell in our favor, man. The caution came out at exactly the right time, enough laps to work through the field, and I wish I could have got a run on. I screwed up and went low on Albert. I should have kept on the outside, but I was kind of getting beat up by 2 teammates, and my teammate couldn't catch up with us, so I was kind of in a bad situation there. But hey, 3, I'll take it.
Well, you guys really did put on an awesome show here tonight between Anderson, Bryant, yourself, and Chris Klein. You guys really showed that you've got some talent. It's good to see some new faces out here at the front of the field, some of these races, and a job well done, Derek. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
With that said, we move to Iowa next week. Of course, I'll be traveling next week, so I won't be able to broadcast that for you guys. I don't know if you've got a backup plan in store, if you're just going to race without, but either way, what's your mindset, your thought process going into a much shorter racetrack, a very different racetrack at Iowa Speedway next week?
I'm not really fond of it. I do all right there. I'm just hoping to get a top 10 at least. So that's my mindset going in. If I make the races, my future of racing is kind of up in the air. But if I do make it, hopefully I get a good finish. Last 3 races I got 1, 2, 3, so I'm doing pretty good. I've finally got used to this new wheel, and I feel like I'm doing better now. So there you go. I'm gonna try my best.
Fair enough, Derek. Congratulations again, man. Who do you want to thank?
My teammates, everybody in TRL, these drivers that show up, especially the drivers that's not even in playoffs. I'm wishing we can get more drivers in here, but it's playoff time. A lot of guys just give up when they don't make the playoffs. But kudos to the guys that do show up and loyal to the NTRL, and my teammates, you for doing an excellent broadcast. Thanks for you're our number 1 broadcaster now, our main broadcaster for NTRL, and yeah, that's it, I guess.
All right, Derek. Well, again, thanks for talking to us, man. Congrats on the 3rd place finish. A job well done. A great race here tonight, and good luck out at Iowa.
Thanks, sir.
It's Derek Welch, your 3rd place finisher here at Michigan Speedway. That's going to wrap up our interviews for this evening. Let's take a look at our official race results. Of course, we talked to Anderson, Bryant, Welch. That was your top 3. Chris Klein, a hard-fought 4th place. Zach Millett, dominant performance here tonight, but 5th place with the older tires. Alfie Charon Jr. was 6th. Matt Sisler was 7th. Chris Goins, 8th. Mark Collins was 9th. Connor Leach was 10th. Ben McKinnon finished in the 11th spot. Anthony Williams was 12th. Sean Roberts, 13th. 14th went to Russ Endicott. Brandon Coleman comes home in the 15th position. 16th, Jesse Redding. Tom Barish was 17th. Josh Moore, 18th. Nick Biddy finishes in the 19th spot. Joe David out of this one somewhat early in the 20th spot, 7 laps down. And Paul Durkee, 21st, 59 laps down. It's your race results here from Michigan Speedway. We look forward to Iowa Speedway next week. Guys, I don't know if there's going to be any kind of broadcast for that next week, but we'll see if we can work something out with Derek in the interim. No promises, but we'll see how it goes. Just thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. Again, congratulations to Albert Anderson picking up his 2nd win on the season. Those of you in the stream chat, as always, thank you. Of course, we had Lisa and Jesse both jumping in. Even though Jesse's not in the race, still chiming in to say hello. We do greatly appreciate that. We had Josh in here late saying hello. I think that's Josh or Caleb Sisk. Lori Vaught, Eddie Rose, of course, Alfie Charon, Zach Millett, that S4 guy, tower operator, jumping in, EV Racing as well. Thank you guys always for chiming in. If you haven't already clicked the thumbs up, the like button on the stream, that helps us immensely, and it's free. It's free, people. How much stuff out there is free today? Everything's more expensive. This is still free. Click that like button. Help us out. It pushes these videos, these broadcasts to a little bit wider audiences. It helps us here at the channel, and it helps the league. Derek was talking about how we want to get these car counts up in the playoffs. A lot of guys don't continue to run the leagues if they don't have a shot at a championship. I get it, but it is difficult at times to keep car counts where they need to be. So go ahead and click that thumbs up. It may help not just us, but also the league. Maybe somebody out there looking for a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night league, they're going to come check this out and they say, hey, you got any room? So it's always a plus. YouTube.com/@HBRTV1. If you don't know the channel link, that's the best way to find us here each and every week on the broadcast platform. With that said, again, congratulations, Albert Anderson, on the race win here tonight. Thank you guys all for tuning in this evening, and we'll see you at the next one. Thanks for watching.